everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to break down Dead City Season 2, and I actually wanted to break down the trailer that we got, because we actually got a teaser trailer today that I do want to talk about, and it's actually pretty revealing, and I think the story for Season 2 is going in a direction that I wasn't expecting. Like, I honestly didn't think that this would be the actual direction of the season, because I thought it would focus more on Negan and what he was doing just sort of overall in New York, and that would be more of the main focus, and it seems like he will be like the big focus here this season, but it looks like based off of some of the information that we learned at Comic-Con that New Babylon, the bigger community around New York City, is actually going to be starting this war with Negan, with the Dama and the Croat and whatnot, and yeah, this season's about to get very, very interesting. The world's about to get a lot bigger here, so yeah, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. I just posted my trailer breakdown for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2, so if you haven't checked that out yet, that's on the channel. After this, I'm going to be doing some videos on the Daryl Dixon trailer. I mean, there's actually a lot to talk about. Expect a lot of videos coming out tonight, as well as tomorrow, and I guess the few days after that, because there's a lot of stuff in the trailer that I really want to focus more specifically on, like certain moments, a lot of things that they actually talked about during Comic-Con, and they did address the one thing that we've all been sort of wondering about, and that is, will we ever see Rick, Daryl, and Carol reunite? And so yeah, I'll do a video breaking down exactly what the answer was to that. So definitely make sure to be a subscriber to get all my videos breaking down all of that. But the very first shot here is a really cool shot of New York City here, and we just see all the vehicles here. I mean, it's just so chaotic. Like, what am I looking at here, right? Like, this is just, I mean, this looks like a lot of what we saw in Dead City Season 1 as well, but I think that just the addition of the vehicles here, like having that many vehicles together, that just makes a lot of sense when you think of what would have happened. You know, when the apocalypse first happened, it probably would have been, you know, what we're seeing here. We then see Maggie leaving the bricks, and this actually is the bricks. You can tell just based off of the walls and whatnot. I remember that a lot in Season 1. Whenever Maggie was actually in the bricks, you would see the walls just sort of, I guess it's all cement walls. Like, again, that's the one thing that I hope in Season 2 that we get a lot more of, which is like the world building aspect to, I guess, the bricks and also New Babylon, because we don't know a lot of like what these places look like in general. We just sort of saw some of the visuals, I would say, of the place, like overviews of the place, right? But we never actually saw more of the specifics of how these communities run and just, you know, the characters walking around in the communities and all that. And so I hope that we see a lot more of that here. It looks like we are getting that here with Maggie. She's actually leaving the bricks, and we have this other shot here where you see her walk outside the door here. So it kind of looks like the hilltop a little bit. Obviously, Maggie has like the main place here. I mean, all of the residents of this place are from the hilltop, which is like, that's also one aspect to it that they never really explored a lot in Season 1. Like, would we recognize anybody from the hilltop that has joined this new group, right? And I feel like probably not, because they are filming in a different location, and you would have to get different actors and whatnot. So obviously that's probably like the main reason here, but you never know. We could get a cameo here. There could be a scene here where someone does show up here for a scene. I think that'd be really cool. We see Herschel here, and he's looking at this photo here of the Dama that he drew. And obviously that's going to be a big motivation here, I guess, for the character. You know, that was a big teaser early on that Herschel's going to have a darker storyline this season. The showrunner actually talked about that a lot, that this season of Dead City, the story is going to be much darker, just overall. Like, the story is going to be a darker story than we got in Season 1. And I wonder what that means. Like, obviously, if you just look at sort of the tone of the story overall and what it seems like in terms of a direction that they're going in, it just seems like this is going to be probably one of the darkest stories, I feel like, for The Walking Dead. We have this shot here of Negan, and yeah, he's actually in a cell. I wasn't expecting this. I thought that, yeah, he would be held captive, but maybe he would be in a place where, you know, he was living, I guess, very well, you know, sort of thing, because obviously the Dama wants him to lead and all of that. And so I don't know if he's refusing, or if in between when he is doing, you know, what he does best, that afterwards he has to go back to his cell or something like that. I have no idea how all this is going to work out, but I imagine what it's going to be is that he's sort of refusing to sort of do anything, and so that's why he's in this cell here. The Croat is coming to visit him here in this cell, and this shot here of Negan is very cool. I actually thought he had like long hair here, but I think it is just his hair in general, because I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan does have like longer hair. It's not like short hair, but he just sort of like puts it back. So I think that's all that is here. But yeah, it seems like he is going to be getting Lucille back. I mean, that's basically confirmed. A lot of the stuff that they confirmed in this trailer was a lot of the things that we sort of saw behind the scenes. And that makes sense. I think that's definitely very smart. Like, we already saw all this stuff. So, like, show us a better version of this. This way, you know, this is sort of what we're seeing from it. And this trailer here created a lot of excitement for Dead City. I would say Dead City was the one spinoff that a lot of people were like, I'm not too sure about. But after this teaser trailer, that's definitely changing that. I think people are starting to look at this like, whoa, this is starting to look a lot better, because yeah, we literally see Lucille right here. And I don't know if this is Negan walking with Lucille, but he does have the bat again. And my guess is this is probably somebody random that is just bringing the bat to him. And so this is going to be sort of what they give him, or just sort of, I guess, propose to him, right? Like, here's your leather jacket. Here is Lucille again, and this is how you're going to sort of lead and do what you do best in general, right? We have another shot here of Negan, and it looks like he's in a church. There's a lot of people here. We've seen a lot of shots of this before. There was like that in-production teaser for Dead City Season 2, in which we saw the Dama and the Croat, and they were in a church. I don't know if they're a religious group or not. I have no idea of the backstory there. And again, that's what I think they're going to be focusing on a lot more in Season 2 here, is just a lot of the world-building aspects to it, you know, getting into more specifics with each group. I think that was definitely lacking a lot in the very first season. But again, I think the first seasons of all of the spinoffs were more like, ignoring the ones who lived, that was definitely very different, because we already got a lot of world building aspects of that with like World Beyond and all that, right? But I think for Daryl Dixon and for Dead City, in terms of learning more about how the groups operate and all of that, I think season 1 was more just focused on like, we're going to set these characters up in these new places. And then after that, going into season 2, we're going to expand a lot more, right? So we're seeing that here. Negan is walking here through all these people. And yeah, he's going to be the leader here, right? And I really love this next shot right here, where we actually see Lucille and then we see him smiling here. And he just knows that, like, he knows what to do. And I wonder if there's going to be issues, like maybe people don't listen right away. But again, I think he knows how to get people to listen to him, right? And he knows how to lead. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I feel like, you know, in terms of a prediction of mine, this is probably going to be episode 1, like the ending of episode 1, where he gets the jacket, he gets Lucille, he walks up to like the front or whatever, and then he just sort of stands and looks at everybody, and he's just like, he has that smile and he's just like, I'm back. Like, I feel like that's probably going to be what happens here. But yeah, then we get this really cool outdoor shot here of New York City at nighttime. Maggie actually came back to the city here, which is really cool. Still something I think is going to happen in episode 1, but then again, this could be an episode 2 thing, because this season is going to have 8 episodes. So like, totally different than the previous season, because that was only 6 episodes. And so the pacing, you know, you had to rush a little bit. That's why I like 8 episodes, because then you could sort of, you know, pace out the story a little bit better and flesh out a lot of stuff a lot better, right? Like, now you can have episode 1 with Maggie just staying at the bricks, focusing a lot more on that storyline and just like seeing a lot more of that community and just like what that place is about. And so a shot like this, maybe it's not Maggie at the end of episode 1 already in New York City, right? Like, maybe this is episode 2 where we see her like first arrive. Like, that would be really awesome. And then we get some stuff here that I found very interesting. And that was one of the things that we got confirmed at Comic-Con actually, which was that New Babylon. So the group that the Marshal is actually a part of is basically starting a war with Negan, the Dama, and everyone in New York City. I still don't know how Bruegel, you know, factors into all of that, but it seems like New Babylon is starting a war over the fact that they have all these resources and whatnot. And I guess it's technically methane that they want, right? Like, they want that specifically. And so it's really interesting, because a lot of people, I think, would have assumed that the Croat and all of them, like, they're going to be starting this war and sort of uprising in New York City. But no, they're actually just sort of doing their own thing. And it's New Babylon that is like, hey, that is very valuable. We want that. And so they're sort of starting this whole war here. And yeah, they obviously use walkers for that. And that's going to be a big part of the season here. And it's kind of interesting, because just who do you view as the villains, right? Like, I guess that's going to be one of the aspects of this that we're all going to be looking at. But then we see a shot here of Maggie. And I thought she was like climbing up a ladder. Maybe it's a ladder that's like on the ground or something. But I was so confused, because I saw the walker like walking, and I was like, there's no way that's Spider-Man. So like, yeah, obviously the ladder's on the ground, and I guess Maggie just like fell down and she's just trying to like pull herself away from the walker or something like that. But then we have this shot here of Bruegel, and yeah, just really incredible. Like, I'm so happy that Kim Coates is a part of this show. It's going to make this season so incredible. And I still don't know anything about the character. We don't know if he's a part of the Dama's group or if he's in a separate group. Like, we don't know anything about Bruegel right now. So this is going to be a lot of fun to just learn a lot more of the very specifics, I guess, with the character. My guess is that he's not with the Dama and that he's a part of a separate group, and that Negan is going to have to try and convince him to, like, I don't know, join the Dama or something like that. And maybe they're trying to, like, join forces against New Babylon. Like, I wonder if that's going to be the direction that they go in here, because New Babylon, you would assume that they're like the good guys, right? But it seems like they might actually become the villains in a sense. But again, it depends on how you view all of it, right? And then we see the Walker rings again, where there's basically Walker fighting and all of that. And I mean, yeah, obviously the Croat is responsible for a lot of this. So that's sort of, you know, that's him doing all of that. It looks like there's a table sort of in the back there where everyone's watching what's going on. So I don't know if they're going to be bringing like Maggie out here or like other characters here to fight some of these walkers, and maybe that's where Negan is like sitting at a table here and he notices and he's just like, that's Maggie, right? And then we see Maggie and the Marshal, and I don't know if this is them reacting to that. It looks like it's like that because that's sort of how the trailer is set up, but I don't think it is actually that. I think they're probably reacting to something else entirely here. But yeah, then we see Negan killing walkers and just like loving life. Like, this is gonna be some of the funnest stuff in the world, just to see, you know, him with the jacket and Lucille. Like, again, everyone loves this version of the character. Jeffrey Dean Morgan talked about that actually at Comic-Con, and I don't know what it is about just that version of the character. I know there's some fans that don't like that version though. Like, I've seen some people say like, oh, I don't want that old Negan to come back because he's very, I don't know, like they were just so happy that he like redeemed himself. And I still think he's going to have those aspects to him still. Like, he's going to be redeemed in a sense because obviously he's learned a lot from then, but in order to survive, like, he has to be able to survive. So he knows how to lead. And also he still has that aspect to his character. Like, he's still Negan, right? At the end of the day, he's not going to change that much, but obviously he's going to feel bad for what he did. We see a shot here of Maggie, and I think that's Herschel there. And it looks like they're probably running around. I mean, I think this is probably where the church is anyway. It's just based off of some of the statues here. It looks like some of the same like statues and whatnot that were actually in that church. So yeah, at this point, I don't know why Herschel is here, but I do remember Herschel and the Marshal actually going to New York or something like that. And I'm guessing Maggie, I guess, follows them and eventually finds Herschel, and this is them trying to escape. Really epic shot here of Negan. There's a newer character there, and the Dama and the Croat. And so it looks like there's a big meeting here happening. It's in Central Park, and I know they filmed a lot of stuff in Central Park. So yeah, really cool. I imagine Bruegel is like on the other side here. Who knows? Maybe Maggie is there as well, right? I think that'd be pretty cool. We then see Maggie with the Croat, and this is a really interesting scene because the Croat took Herschel away. Obviously, that was because like he wanted Negan. And so I don't know what happened with Herschel at this point, or I don't know what's going on here, but Maggie seems really upset. And I mean, he kind of caused all of this to happen, right? Like, he literally brought Maggie into all this drama here. So I wonder, I mean, could the Croat die this season? I think it's possible. We then get this shot here of this vehicle or like garbage truck just sort of clearing the roads here of all the cars, which is like, yeah, I guess that's something that you would have to do, obviously, in New York City. Cool shot here of Negan throwing his bat, or it looks like it's his bat anyways, in his cell. So that was why I was talking about that before. Like, after he does his job and whatnot for the Dama, like, afterwards, does he get to, like, go back and, like, live in a really nice, like, house or apartment or something like that? Probably not. It seems like he has to go back to his cell or something like that. So I don't know if he's really the leader that everyone thinks he is. And also, the one thing, too, is, like, I don't even know if he's going to be the leader. Like, that's sort of something that we're speculating about. But, like, what if he's more of, like, the Punisher or the person that, like, makes everybody listen? Like, I don't know how all of this is going to play out here. But, yeah, just really cool just to see him with Lucille and that jacket, obviously. And then we see Negan walking by here. Maggie actually notices him. And that's going to be a lot of fun. For Maggie just to see Negan with Lucille, with the jacket, and just be like, you're literally turning back into your old self. Like, that is still always there. And that was something Maggie talked about a lot in season 1. So just to see that here again, like, oh, I'm so excited for this. But yeah, Dead City is coming out in 2025. Obviously, it's probably going to be in February or March. We're likely going to get like an official trailer for this at some point after Daryl Dixon finishes airing. So that's going to be like, what, mid-November or something, early to mid-November. And I'm so excited for Dead City. This trailer here definitely made me way more confident in Dead City just in general. I wouldn't say that I wasn't confident at all, but I was just like, you know, what's the direction of the show? I was kind of wondering in general. And this trailer right here definitely got me really excited. So yeah, post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.